Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. Welcome back. Man, yo. What is good? Welcome back, man. Here we are, the 16th Controversial 2020 Fireside Chat. And you know what that means? 4 straight months we've been doing this shit. And that means 4 straight months this pandemic has been going along. And I'm sorry to bring that kind of damper on your day, but the truth. And damn, shit's kind of crazy. If you want to do a quick rundown, so Trump's still a chump, Kemp's still a simp, and it's 117 days since Breonna Taylor was murdered, and still haven't arrested her killer. So maybe AG Cameron punk ass can get on that. And that's basically your rundown. Also, so I realized that when I wanted to start this podcast, aside from just talking shit, which I do, I wanted to give, a voice to the voiceless. And, sometimes there's certain things that I don't like to talk about, not because I don't necessarily want to talk about it, it's just I don't really know how to approach it in the best way. So, I mean, the, what we're going to talk about is I don't want to use the term black on black violence because I feel like that just has such this negative connotation, and it infers things that just aren't true. It infers that crime and violence are inherently, a cultural thing, particularly within black people. And I mean, it's false. We know that it's false. Sociologists and psychologists and scholars, they all can tell you that crime and violence are usually opportunity or their lack of, poverty, lack of education, those type of things lead to the crime, and then also opportunity, and therefore other issues to a degree will lead to violence. So when we look at it from that perspective, they can tell that the overall theme of it is poverty. Poverty is what causes crime. So over the 4th of July, there's a rise in violence, y'all. And it's something that I have to talk about. You see, I mean, if we're being honest, like, I always talk about certain things, right? I'll switch it up a lot, but I normally talk about like police brutality the most, right? Like, there's probably nothing that I could think of. Maybe, all right, so there's probably one thing that I've probably said more on this show. Yo 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 yo. Like, I mean, aside from that, I talk a lot of shit about them punk ass boys in blue, but I can't really just sit back and remain silent. So what I want you to do is understand that this is not from the lens of saying that this is black on black crime. Okay? This is not from the lens of saying this is black on black violence or this is black on black murders. This is about the sanctity of life. This is about understanding the value of one another. It is about understanding and empathizing with each other within the community. We have seen that for the most part, we're all we got. Okay? We have allies that will help, but we have to work within our community when given the opportunities. Like I said, when given the opportunities, they're not always given. And that is part of what I'm going to explain in a second. But I would be remiss if I didn't just give you a few of the numbers, y'all. So bear with me. Chicago, 17 dead, 63 shot or wounded. A 7-year-old named Natalie Wallace and an unnamed 14-year-old. Atlanta, 2 were killed, 20 injured. an 8-year-old by the name of Secoria Turner. Philly, a 6-year-old unnamed was killed. And in New York, a 15-year-old unnamed was killed along with 8 others, and 41 were either shot or wounded. Yeah, that was just 4 major cities in the United States over one weekend. Prior to this weekend in Chicago, 2 other children were killed. Y'all, we have to protect the babies at all costs. Okay? There's no excuse for it. I'm not giving excuses. I'm giving what I believe to be analytical reasoning behind what's going on, but I am no way condoning or excusing people taking each other's lives, especially black people. We cannot do this. We are better than this. We are so much better than this. So, I've been thinking that I'm gonna get to the reasonings behind it, but there's just something else that's on my mind. So I've been doing a lot of the local activism lately and stuff like that, and I'm realizing that we have the power to unite. We have the power to come together if we have common goals and common interests. Black people, we have one common goal, and that is protecting black lives. Okay, we say it, Black Lives Matter. We know it, we mean it. And this isn't about trying to obfuscate or trying to detract or trying to distract from the police brutality or the systemic racism. But we gotta shed a light, and we cannot be afraid to talk about the fact that these are senseless murders. Okay? But let's talk about some of the reasoning maybe behind it. Now, Chicago in general is a very, very, very segregated type of situation as far as socioeconomic goes. And in certain areas, they're highly, highly, I guess you would say, poverty stricken. Okay? I hate the term crime riddled. Okay? They're poverty stricken. There is so much poverty within the communities due to lack of underinvesting. Okay? So that's one of the issues. Lack of underinvesting for years and years and years, which will breed generational trauma and generational hostility. So these people have no opportunity for improvement. So that's one situation. Schooling, piss poor. Education, how else are you going to get out of your situation if you can't even learn that you're in the situation in the first place, right? So that's the second thing. This pandemic, it has disproportionately hit black communities, and that's due to years and years and years of environmental racism, types of situations where like over pollution in inner cities, and there's all types of other. I can't think of them like right off the top of my head. Just look up environmental racism; it'll blow your mind. Like there's racism in every institution in the United States, and it's fucking ridiculous. But certain issues have caused African Americans to have higher predispositions to respiratory issues or genetic issues as far as diabetes and stuff like that. And that's due to certain practices and certain racist policies that have happened. So, yes, these are 3 main things right now that are causing it. There's the poverty, the education, and then you got coronavirus, which has decimated certain parts of employment. So now people have nothing to do, they have nowhere to go, and there's been a surge of guns bought. So much that between March and May of this year, 2.1 million more guns have been purchased than last year. So, when we think about it from that perspective, it's kind of easy to see that these are going to happen. But that's not excusing it. It's giving a reasoning behind why so much violence is happening in these communities in particular. It is not to say that the people in these communities are inherently criminal are inherently violent, are inherently troubled. They have lack of, okay? And this isn't a partisan issue. This isn't about Democrats running it. This isn't about Republicans not running it or nothing like that. This is a humane issue. This is an issue of understanding that these people need help. Okay? We need real investment. You can't just say that because you're investing in the police departments that you're investing in these communities. Over policing these communities, over criminalizing them is what is leading to a lot of these issues, what is leading to a lot of this anger and hatred. There has to be better community relations, and there has to be better community programs. You know I'm going to say it. Defund the police. Okay? Free up resources, reallocate them, create economic advancement, create jobs, okay? Give black people loans so that they themselves can create businesses or so that they themselves can get a house. Like when you look at redlining, I'm just going to start throwing out things that I need y'all to research to understand why these things are happening, okay? We always want to talk about, well, all these people are getting killed and these places are just bad. This is why. We have to talk about why, okay? I don't have a problem bringing this conversation up, but we also got to talk about why, okay? So, black on black, excuse me, I have something in my throat. Black on black crime is not a term that we are going to use when we are speaking about these, okay? We're going to speak about loss of sanctity of life, loss of value of life, because we understand that the life should matter, and we understand that we should be doing better. We don't need white people to tell us what about black on black crime, because we understand that it's an issue. We understand that it's something we want to work on. What we want to ask is, what about white on white crime? How about y'all get working on your community and we'll kind of work on ours? Bet? All right. But aside from that, to work on your community, what you have to do is become active. Active in your voting, active in your community activism, which sounds pretty redundant. You guys get what I'm saying. Like, if something's going on in your city, like, show the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason why at a time like this, when everything is going on, that you would continue to stay behind your computer. You would continue to stay behind your phone when you have the ability to live through this revolution and be on the right side. There's no reason. But if you decide not to engage, that's on you. You know, nobody should shame anybody for not taking part. But I really, really think that I really think you need to go ahead and jump on into this fight and get on the right side. But in doing so, there's things that you can do. There's people that you can vote for. And the way that you can find out how you can vote for these people, I'm going to let you know. All right. A lot of politicians will say a lot of shit, right? Isn't that why a lot of us are pissed off with it? Like, we're just mad because it seems like a politician's always telling you what they're going to do. Well, look, fuck what they're going to do. What you need to do is look at what they have done, especially if they have been in office for a long time. Their voting record is out there, and it is in chronological order, especially if you go to websites like 538. I will continue to say things like this and up until the election, because I need you guys to understand that there's some incumbents who have been sitting in their seats for so long, and there is fresh blood ready to take them out, and it is probably in your best interest. It would behoove you to go ahead and maybe look into why this incumbent needs to get his ass out and why this other person might be better for you, okay? Look at the voting records. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. The second thing I'm going to tell you is, I know specifically in Georgia, there is an app on all platforms that is GASOS, and that's Georgia State Secretary of State? I don't fucking know. Regardless of it, it is an amazing app. And if you download it, what it does for you is allows you to know your voter active status. It allows you to know if you can put in an absentee ballot or where you can submit one or where you can submit for one. It tells you who's on the ballot. Man, it does a lot. And honestly, it's the best way to stay active right now, to keep up with what is going on, to know if you can vote or if you can't vote, because Man, they're doing everything they can to keep you guys from voting. And by you guys, I mean anybody who is against the status quo, that is against fuckboy 4 or 5, that is against what the GOP is doing, what is against moderate and centrist Democrats. They're all the same, okay? I need y'all to understand that. They are all the same. I'm not saying that Biden isn't as bad as Trump. What I am saying fuck them all. Alright? That's what Jokester says. You know I do not endorse anybody. But what I will say is that Michael C. Jones does have to go to a polling place. And when he goes to that polling place, he has to pick the best person for himself. Sometimes that means writing his own name in. Sometimes that means there's somebody actually on the ballot. What I'm telling you is to educate yourself on that. Find out who is running in your area. Find out who is running for your district, for your county, for your city. Who's your mayor? Hell, find out who the hell the damn dog catcher is. Just get more involved because that is the best way to change the community. All right? Y'all want to change the world? I know. But you got to change yourself first. And real quick, Patrick Mahomes just got this $450 million contract. And I want y'all to understand something. Don't be mad. Congratulate him. Dude's amazing. All right. And I'm not saying that, wow, $450 million, he just deserves it. What I'm saying is he earned it because that's what the market demands for an NFL quarterback of his stature. All right. Y'all can't be mad about this. What you need to do is find what it is that you're good at like that. And then you go demand your money. You know what I mean? Like, you are worth it. Know your worth. Okay? He knew his worth. And look at that. Cashed out. So I need you to understand you're worth so much more than you think you are. I need you to find your worth. See you next week.